This is the last lecture for section 1.3. 1.3, the big topic is how to summarize quantitative variables with numbers. And in the previous lecture, we looked at two ways to summarize the center of a data set, that is mean and median. We looked at a way of summarizing the um, variability or spread of the data set, that was using IQR. We had previously talked about um, range is another way of measuring spread. This section is going to be about one more way of measuring spread, and it's called standard deviation. I'm going to show you how to calculate the standard deviation by hand, and then at the end of the lecture, I'm going to show you how to calculate the standard deviation using a calculator. But first of all, let's define what we mean by standard deviation. And before we do that, let's say, well, what is a deviation? Well, every data point in a data set varies from the mean. So let's say we have this data set, 9 kids were asked how many pets you have. One kid had one pet. Here's another person had 8 pets. But every single one of these numbers is varies from the mean. Now, if you do the calculation, we find out that the mean is 5. So this kid who has a one pet, they vary from the mean by -4. 1 minus 5 is -4. They're four units below the mean, 4 pets below the mean. This student here who has 8 pets, they have a deviation of 3. They're 3 pets above the mean. And that's great. We can calculate the deviation for each data point in the data set. So if I go to this table, I could say, as I said before, someone who has one pet, their deviation is -4. Someone with 8 pets is a deviation of 3. Someone with 3 pets are 2 below the mean. Someone with 4 pets, they're 1 below the mean. Someone with 5 pets, they don't deviate from the mean at all. Their deviation is 0. 7 pets are 2 above the mean. And 9 pets are 4 above the mean. Now, if we add up those numbers, -4, -2 is -6, 7, 8, 9. There's -9 in the negative numbers. +2 plus 3 is 5, plus 4, that's +9. That adds up, the sums of the deviations end up being 0. And what's interesting is that number is always 0. No matter how crazy the data set is, always 0. In other words, that's not a good measurement of how much variability there is. Zero variability, you have a value 0. Lots of variability, you have a value 0. So that's not so good. And it comes about because the positive numbers and the negative numbers are canceling out. So how do we get this cancellation not to happen? Well, one way we could do is just strip off the negative numbers and add them up. And that is a possibility. But because statistics is built on the top of calculus, there's some reasons that that's not a great idea for some other stuff that we'll be doing later on in the year. So another way to get rid of the negatives is to square everything. And when we square everything, all those zero negatives going away. So we could take and we could square each of these deviations. Like square of -2 is 4, square of -1 is 1, square of 0 is 0, square of 2 is 4, square of 4 is 16. And these numbers can be added up in order to get what's called the sums of the squares of the deviations. And let's do a quick add up there. 16 plus 4 is 20, 21, 22, 23, plus another 4 is 27, 27 plus 9 is 36, plus another 16 is 52. So we found the sums of the squares of the deviations. Um, the sum of the squares of the deviations, in this case is 52. Um, what did we find? Well, I think the big takeaway is that when the data is further from the mean, the squares of the deviations gets, and I'm going to underline the word much larger. Okay? Okay. 3 away from the mean creates a 9 there. 4 away creates 4 away from the mean, creates a 16. That's much larger. So in other words, the things that are further away from the mean have a little bit more oomph to them. So what do we do with this number 52? We're now on step 5 here. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to find the average um, for that. And you notice the word average is in quotes because we're not going to really find the average, but rather what we're going to do is we're going to divide by n minus 1, 1 minus the number of numbers. And there's again, a very heavy math reason to do this, having to do with this thing called degrees of freedom. We'll talk a little bit more about degrees of freedoms later. But the average of the squares of the deviations is this thing called variance. So if I wrote it in symbols, it's first data point minus the mean squared plus the second data point minus the mean squared until we get all of those data points. And we divide it by n minus 1. Now we do have a little bit of shorthand. That shorthand is the sum of x sub I minus x bar squared. That represents everything that's on the top, and dividing it by n minus 1. And we call this, by letter, we call this s squared. In our example, this is 52 divided by 9 minus 1, or 52 divided by 8. And I used a calculator to calculate this earlier, and that happens to be 6.5. The sums of the squares of the deviations is 6.5. The average, sorry, the average square deviation. Now, remember, we started saying what we're trying to calculate is the standard deviation. Well, this number is not the standard deviation, okay? But it's close. If it had units, it would be like pets squared, which doesn't make it feel real useful. What we're going to do is we're going to take the square root of it. We're going to take the square root of this sum of the deviation squared divided by n minus 1, which is, by the way, again, just the square root of s squared. And in this case, we'll call that s. And for our example, that's the square root of 6.5, which in this case, for our example, is 2.54, and its unit is pets. All right? So we would say the, I'm sorry, I'm going to put the word approximate. The approximate average distance of the data to the mean, which is S, in this case is 2.54 pets. All right? Sort of in summary, here's how we find that variance. Again, S squared. And then what do we do to find the standard deviation? We take the square root of that S squared. You'll see a little subscript X there. Again, if we call the variable that we were working with as X, then this is S sub X. All right. And that's how we calculate a standard deviation by hand. Um, Pretty tedious, pretty um un not fun. But the next thing we're gonna do and the last thing we're gonna do for this section, is I'm gonna show you how to do this on the calculator. Um, I'm gonna bring my calculator up. Uh, there's a two-step process for calculating these standard deviations, and that is we are going to put our data into a page called the Lists and Spreadsheets page, option number 4 when you're adding a page. I'm going to go up and then give this column a name. I'm going to call it pets. And then down in the table, I can put the numbers that are in the data set. 1, 3, 4, 4, 4, 5, 7, 8, and 9. Hit enter. And so now I have all the data in the calculator. I'm going to add a page to my document. So I hit Control and plus page right there. And I'm going to add a calculator page. On the calculator page, I can choose the word menu, choose option number 6, which is statistics. I'm going to do some stat calculations, so I'm going to use option number 1. And we only have one variable running around here, so we call this a one variable statistic. I hit enter. It asks me some questions. How many lists do we have? I only have one data list. Hit enter. I could type in the name of that list, which is pets, or I can hit the right arrow and pets shows up as a pop-up window. I hit enter. I leave everything else empty and hit OK. And there we have it. Here's a big long printout of a bunch of things having to do with that data list. Now I'm going to scroll up to the top so we can see the top of it. Its first line says X bar is 5. Well, the mean is 5, just like we said it was. Um, Down a little bit lower, N is 9. There are 9 data items. Put a 9 in for N. Standard deviation, there's S of X, and there's the 2.54. I guess it rounds to 255. And then if we scroll down a little, a bunch of the other things that we calculated in an earlier section are there. Like the minimum is 1, the Q1 is 7, and sorry, the Q1 is 3.5. The median is 4. The Q3 is 7.5. And the maximum is 9. Okay, and all of that's coming out of that printout. Our variable, we called it pets, could have called it X, and that's okay. All right, and that's how we can get that calculation done without having to do it by hand. Um, in summary, now that we know we have two different measurements of center and two different measurements of spread, how do we choose how to use them? Well, here's some rules of thumb. If there is outliers or skewness, then we better use median and IQR as they are not affected by outliers or skewness. If there are not outliers and the distribution is reasonably symmetric, then maybe mean and standard deviation is the better choice. Regardless, when we summarize the data set, the numbers are not the whole story. Remember, we should always plot the data in any one of the 4 different ways we've learned how to plot quantitative data: stem plot, dot plot, histogram, and box plot. All right, so here's our summary. Remember that we have SOX, which is an acronym to help us remember all the things we need to talk about when we talk about uh, summarizing a distribution. We have centers, we have spreads like IQR and standard deviation. And then we have different ways to plot. And that finishes up our 1-3 lecture and finishes up our chapter 1 lectures.